time to get our review of Slowthai's Nothing Great About Britain.
Did we play the demo?
Not for this.
Oh.
Do you just want me to play Slowthai? I can do that. We should get copyright striked.
That'd be hilarious. Do it.
Hilarious for you, because I need this channel to survive. I make money. No, I don't.
No, you don't. We know you don't.
Just like me.
If you made money off of this, you wouldn't have to get a job so we can get an apartment together.
Shh. Secret. There's big secrets happening. Slowthai is an MC from Northampton, Northamptonshire, which sounds like the fakest fucking place in the world. It just sounds fake. Northamptonshire is not a real place.
Is it?
It's from.
Is that a country?
It's part of England.
It's part of England?
Yeah, it's a state. I don't know if it's a state. But
it's a territory, I guess. Maybe is
Yeah.
what they call it there. I don't know.
Yeah, because it would be weird if nothing's great about Britain, but he's not from Britain.
I mean, if he was like a country that's part of the UK, that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a country then.
Should I Google it like right now?
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead with that. He's mainly known for balancing his punk grittiness with his hip-hop gifted cadences. His character inflection is what stands out the most about him. The roughness of his performances adds like a legitimacy to him. Nothing seems like out of character or fake. He's very similar to tone to like Manhattan MC Wiki. Even kind of like on a more like weird side of the spectrum, Brockhampton MC Joba.
It's a county.
County?
Yeah, it's a county of England.
So it is part of England.
Yeah.
Okay. He's had a hella 2019 featuring on some high profile releases like Flume's High Bleams on the album or on the mixtape High This Is Flume, and he also did uncredited background vocals on What's Good off Tyler Creator's Ego. So those are two high praising cosigns to get. Even though on the track What's Good, me and Trevor had a hard time figuring which part of it actually was Slowthai. Because none of it seemed like it was all Tyler. We couldn't hear any background vocals that wasn't Tyler. So maybe he was just in the background like playing the triangle or something, you know? Just going at it.
Maybe he was beatboxing.
But it was background vocals, so never mind. So he was just probably just talking, eating some crumpets or whatever, having some tea, whatever the British do. Nothing Great About Britain is his first studio album, and it has fantastic album art. I'm just gonna say that right away. Nothing describes, I guess, the more rough style of Slowthai than this album art. It's very, for one, it's very British.
Yeah.
Having the, what is it? The
stocks.
Yeah, stocks. And two, I just like the grandeur of it for something that's really like, I guess, kind of grimy, kind of dirty, filthy. I just like the tone. I like how he's butt-ass naked. I think that's really fucking funny. And it also brings out the humor and just his overall character. I think it's great. Yeah, this is his first studio album. It's 11 tracks, 32 minutes on the regular version. And there's 6 bonus tracks that are made from like previous EPs or singles from the past like 2 years. And that comes out on 17 tracks. 51 minutes. I think both of these versions are fine. I think the expanded kind of bonus track version is just a little bit too long.
It's too long.
I think some of the better tracks are on the second half.
Yeah.
But it's just too long.
It's too long. I remember like when you told me this was the album, I didn't know there was a bonus track version. So I just got the full bonus track version and listened to that, not aware that there was going to be bonus tracks. And pretty much right after this one as well, I was like, this seems really long. I feel like this should have been cut by now.
And plus Northampton's Child, which is the last track.
It's a great
it's the great closer.
Yeah, it's such a good closer.
But yeah, I like both versions. I think just the expanded version is just too long.
I guess get the bonus track version, like if you're gonna get an album, just if you don't have the EPs or anything.
Yeah, I like the songs on them, but it's just like he's such a saturated artist, and it's so like weird to listen to this for like more than like around like 32 minutes.
Yeah,
I think it just kind of overstays the presence, but I think it fits the themes and the overall aesthetic of what he's going for. I just think it's just a little bit too long.
That's too much, man.
So going over this, I think I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this quite a bit.
A lot, yeah.
It hit me by surprise because I didn't know. Listening to him on Flume, I guess, which was pretty much my only experience to him before this, was kind of surprising because I didn't feel like he was this political or this kind of like just grimy, because Flume's environment's very clean. And even when they are like saturated and abstract and abrasive, they're still pretty polished, and glistening. So he seemed pretty clean on the track. He had like a grittiness to him, but it wasn't like super gritty. And as we go into this record, So I didn't know he was as political and as, like, I guess, high stakes. There's a lot of... I feel like he's one of those artists that is very political, but he isn't trying to make a statement.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And it's not a bad thing, because I don't feel like he's trying to give us these narratives that are just these giant themes being thrown at us. I do think that he's just
It's
telling us about his life.
It's a creation of a situation. It's a recognition of issues, but not really as a, this is like our big scheme. This is our plan. This is how we fix the world. It's more like this is just the world, and these are its faults that we can work towards. But
I really like that style of writing, because I feel like it works more in conveying the themes of your work.
Yeah.
Because you're not trying to give me an entire, like, theme, or you're not trying to give me a whole entire communist manifesto.
You're not writing a political manifesto with your album.
Yeah. So starting off with Nothing's Great About Britain, I think it's just a good encapsulation of just the scale and the magnitude of what this track is saying. Nothing is great about his hometown or his home country. Doorman with Muramasa. I see that name. I've never had to read it before. I've seen that name be overhyped for like the last 2 years. He put out an album last year, I think. And I listened to a bit of it, and there's nothing. Every track I've heard him on before hasn't really done anything except for this one, because he only does production. And it's fantastic because it's just gritty punk production.
Yeah, this is... When I listened to Doorman, I was like, oh, wow, this is what Sleaford Mods should have sounded like.
Because this is what punk... The best of both punk...
And, like, British hip-hop.
Yeah, because, one, you got, like, the hip-hop cadences... You got the rebellious nature, you got the grittiness and the instrumentation, but it isn't just like talking to me like Sleaford's Mods is.
Yeah.
It actually has
energy.
It has energy, but also has good
personality.
vocal performances.
Yeah.
I think his vocal performances are actually decent across this entire thing. It still has that like rough around the edge character, and they're not fine tuned by any means, but I feel like he presents himself well. Like on tracks like Doorman, and later on with Crack, how he has the kind of group feature or the group vocals type deal, or just the chorus behind him or the delay. It really lays out nice, and it actually highlights a lot of the kind of amateurishness to his voice, but it also makes it more beautiful and makes it feel like a more melancholic moment. I really enjoy it. But yeah, that track Doorman, how he's talking about the doorman won't let him in, and it just feels like this constant rush of kind of rebelliousness. I think it just works out as a general track. Dead Leaves, he talks about how he needs to cut off his friends or his allies that really don't do anything for him except for just want him when he's needed.
Yeah.
Which is pretty shitty. Gorgeous, how he's just talking about himself, hyping himself up, and kind of also getting into on that track how him and 5 of his friends got arrested because they thought he had weapons, but in reality it was just like something else.
Yeah.
Which was
I think for Gorgeous might be one of my least favorite tracks on here. Not because of like the themes, but just like his vocals don't seem to match the production that
and also
well.
it lingers a bit.
Yeah.
I like the ideas, and I think it also showcases like there's a lot of like world building on this record, or more just the scripted nature of this record, which I really enjoy, where it feels more like an actual world, or a world that could actually be ours, than just like I guess braggadocio, if that makes sense. Because I feel like he's using similar braggadocio style, but his braggadocio style is very descriptive in the world around him.
Yeah. It seems, like I said, like the vocals don't match. When he does the hook, like it seems like he's like running out of breath at times. Yeah. And like it just goes on for a while, but it's worth it because it goes into the greatest like track opener ever, which is
Crack. On the track Crack, he has a very like ODB like performance, I would say, which is ODB Danny Brown like nature, where he's like, I love you like a crackhead loves crack. Just the raspiness on his voice is untouched. Talking about how this person in his life is too sweet, like grapefruit. It has that bitterness to it. I really like that track. It's a mix of just like I guess like alternative R&B, but also with this like punkish style. It works. It works extremely well. I really like it. That's one of the standout moments. Grew Up with JK. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But as a feature, it doesn't really add anything to the track.
No.
I like the message of growing up. We can't just be in this linear state forever. We have to progress. Inglorious with Skepta. I like that Skepta's on here, another big name for him, but I like Skepta's performance. It's nothing too new for Skepta. I feel for a lot of the Skepta performances besides Praise the Lord featuring A$AP Rocky, which I wasn't too happy with when I first heard it in the review, but it's come to grow on me. I feel like Skepta doesn't really switch up his features that much or switch up his performance.
Yeah.
He's like one of those artists that you need to change the background about him or the narrative changes in the track. But he was always decent. Like he always had a good chaotic energy, and it's a nice different tone for Slowthai, so it works. Peace of Mind on the track. I like how the iPhone bomb noise starts off the track, the bomb alarm, and he's talking about how he just wants to find peace of mind in his life, how he just is only happy when he's in the bed, or he's only happy when he's asleep.
You skipped Toaster.
Toaster, I really don't have any notes on that, really. But like, I feel like this is kind of going through Missing, where he's talking about how going back to kind of ideas on Dead Leaves, where people think he's missing in their lives, but they only really want him when he's needed. Northampton Child, I think, is the biggest political statement on here, and probably the best track.
And that's also his like most honest and vulnerable, just talking about his childhood and like
talking about how his coming up, but not as an artist, but just growing up, and how his mother and I think his sister were very poor, and how they didn't have a lot, and how his father left him, and how his mom dated a drug dealer for a long time, and how they've always kind of lived in poverty and going through this age and just kept on going and going. I think it's a bigger bigger political statement on just how I guess poor most people are, and just how
it's political and grand by being small and intimate. Which is like something that's really beautiful when you can do it that way.
It's just the constant story kind of growing and growing of just how poor they are and how they keep on struggling and how issues happen and how people like the mother's boyfriend, who is the drug dealer, just like evaporate and leave, and how they keep on progressing and how struggles coming in and out of their life, I think is really nice. And it's a bigger social issue that's being demonstrated. I don't think that was his intention, because it was more just demonstrating his own life, but it comes out that way, which is really nice. I think it also highlights a good deal of the topics that come on the bonus track, Drug Dealer, where he's talking about what a teacher asked him what he wanted to do with his life, and he says drug dealer because he can't do anything else, making the idea of drug dealer for a lot of people is the most reliable job they can get, even though it's illegal.
Kind of a weird thing to explain, like the whole like cycles of poverty, how like you're put in a bad situation and you're not given the resources to get out, so you just have to continue to
Rainbow, I think, is another great moment, because he's talking about being mixed, but it isn't stupid. Like, it isn't like a meme like Logic does it, but it isn't just based on the idea of being mixed. It's based on the backlash to being mixed, and kind of how people interact with them. But it isn't just a stupid idea of, look at me, I'm special. It's more of, this is what I have to go through. These are the struggles I face. It's not just about the topic alone. He evolves it past, which I think is really nice. And that's all I really gotta say. I really enjoyed this. I think some issues that he comes up with, I think more expansive production. There's a lot of strings and pianos on this. I like a lot of the background production. I think it's very minimal. I like that minimalist aesthetic. I wish there was more switch ups like Doorman. I wish there was more features like Skepta that would pop up. I feel like in the grander scheme of things, I just want more, which is a good thing, because I feel like he's leaving me wanting more. I think I got that. This is a great debut. I really enjoyed it. It just needs beefing and some fine tuning, but I think for the most part, he hits it out of the park pretty good. I don't really have any more complaints, except for I think it just needs to be a little bit more polished, and that's it.
It's a fantastic album. It was an album I had no prior knowledge of, like in terms of like both like Slowthai, however, and or like the album existing until you're like, hey, let's check it out. And I saw the album cover, I was like, yes, and then it didn't disappoint. It was a great like album, and it's pretty much, I wish part of me wishes I could have reviewed this at the same time reviewed Sleaford Mods, because it's like the perfect like palate cleanser for their awfulness, because it's like the same like goals, but like very different ways of getting to it, and one actually succeeds and the other one sucks.
Yeah. Keep in mind that all scores are futile, meaningless. Right now, at this current moment, I think this is like an 8. I enjoyed
8.
it. Yeah.
8.
But yeah.